Thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you for bringing Golden Valley Health Center services to the west side of Modesto, off of Paradise. My home corridor, I grew up walking back and forth from Burbank to Vernon Block as a kid with my grandparents. And I remember as a kid just having to travel across town to get health care. Now, thanks to you all and the great work of your organization, we're able to have those families serviced literally a block away, right?
Yes.
Or a bus ride away. And so I think it's very valuable to be able to have accessible health care in your community, not just your city, but in your particular community. So, you know, you guys are a Hispanic serving organization from what I understand. District 2, my district, is 74% Latino. And so I've been hearing nothing but good chatter about this. So I'm really glad to have good news coming out of the west side. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Yamilet. And I would hope that you would introduce your team really quick. But we're thankful for everything that you all bring to the community, particularly Stanislaus County and Modesto. And I have realized the older I get, the more I need those services. So thank you for what you do. And definitely would like to hear who's with you today.
Absolutely. I'm going to invite them to come up.
All right.
So we have our Chief of Operations, Melinda Marshall. We also have Stephanie Palmerin, who's Health Center Manager, Juana Fregoso, who's the Director of Operations, and Ed Hodge, Director of Operations as well, Aluriel Ceballos, who is our Community Engagement Specialist, and Adriana Navarro, who's one of our Health Center Managers. So thank you.
You're welcome. I just have one comment, and I remember well, and I've told Yamilet this story before, but not story, it's fact. When I was an emergency room nurse at Doctors Medical Center, and for years, we would have patients that would come, even children with broken arms, broken legs, and we would take care of them, splint, cast, send them out, but we had nowhere to refer them for follow-up care. So they would return to the emergency room for their follow-up care, and that was where they received their primary treatment. And the day that Golden Valley Health Center opened here in Modesto was one joyous day, that we now had a place that we could refer patients to for follow-up care, for things that anyone else would expect to go see a specialist for to be treated. So I have always had such great admiration for all the work that you do, and I know how valuable it is for every single patient that you treat. So thank you all so very much for being here.
Thank you.
I will now bring the proclamation down and share it. How do I even need to introduce you? Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to be here this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations. All right, where should I go? We'll just go right. This? Is that good, Sonia? All right. Next is item 4, proclamation declaring August 6th as National Night Out. I will read the proclamation. National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes police-community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safer, better places to live. And it provides an opportunity for communities across the country, including the City of Modesto, to come together and enhance relationships among neighbors and law enforcement while fostering a true sense of community. And fostering positive relationships between neighbors and law enforcement is critical in building trust and ensuring public safety. And National Night Out aims to heighten crime prevention awareness, generate support for participation in local anti-crime efforts, and send a clear message that neighborhoods are united and vigilant. And the City of Modesto recognizes the importance of community engagement and its role in building stronger, safer neighborhoods. And the City of Modesto wishes to actively participate in fostering a safe and connected community and recognizes the efforts of its residents, law enforcement agencies, and community organizations in promoting safety and unity. And now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim August 6th, 2024 as National Night Out in the City of Modesto and urge all residents, community organizations, and law enforcement agencies to join together in celebrating this significant milestone. Tonight we have Charlene, right? Oregon Police Civilian Supervisor with our Crime Prevention Unit to accept the proclamation. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. National Night Out is a night for communities to stand together to promote awareness, safety, and neighborhood unity. This year marks the 41st annual National Night Out and the 24th year that Modesto has participated. In 20 of those years, Modesto has placed first in the state for cities our size, including last year. In addition to first in the state, we also placed 5th nationally last year. So far this year, we have 60 parties registered across the city, and there's still time to sign up. Parties can be registered online at the city's website or by contacting the Modesto Police Department's Crime Prevention Unit. And I just would like to thank our citizens and community partners for continuing to make National Night Out successful in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments and for being here this evening. Do you have any council members that would like to make comments? Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I participate in the National Night Out every year, and last year I was able to, out of 25 of the National Night Out areas in my district, I was able to go to 16 of those, and I hope to go to 20 this coming year in August, because I want to make sure I thank those who are helping our law enforcement to be what it needs to be. So thank you.
That is impressive. I've got to say, to get 20 of them. I'm, to be first in the state of California of cities our size is really, I think, a tribute to the work that you do to make that happen. So I really appreciate that. That's commendable.
Thank you.
Any other comments at this time? All right. Thank you for being here this evening, and I will bring the proclamation down.
And where's the punchline? I don't get it. Hands up, don't shoot. Y'all are very tone deaf. I realize that's saying that's disrespectful.
Thanks for being here. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
That guy threatened to assault me in front of the chief of police and the mayor, so let's all congratulate him. You want to talk about that incident, Brandon? You guys are disgusting. Only work for your own career, your own political successes. I know several families that have lost loved ones that have been killed by you people. You Brandon, you little boys. It's disgusting. Let's talk about trauma and how you guys love to further traumatize your victims. It's disgusting.
All right, next on the agenda is miscellaneous. Item 5, consider accepting the resignation of David Seymour from the Landmark Preservation Commission. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Item 5, are there any members of the public that would like to come forward? I will close public comments and any council member. Okay, regarding item 5?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not regular public.
No, not yet. This is just for item 5. We'll get there. Any council member comments regarding item 5?
I would like to.
Oh, Councilmember Scudia-Brink.
Thank you. I just would like to thank Mr. Seymour for his service and his dedication not only to the Landmark Preservation Commission, but to Modesto as a whole. So I appreciate his time and service while he was on the commission. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have a resolution accepting the resignation of David Seymour from the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Item 6, consider appointing David Barber, Margie Johnson, and Gloria Edith Verdon to the City of Modesto Citizens Housing and Community Development Committee with terms expiring December 31st, 2027. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 6? I will open item 6 up to the public for any comments. Seeing none, I will close public comments on this item and ask council for further comments. I have a resolution appointing David Barber, Margie Johnson, and Gloria Edith Verdon to the City of Modesto Citizens Housing and Community Development Committee with terms expiring December 31st, 2027. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scudia-Brayton. Will the clerk call the roll for this item, please?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Item 7, consider appointing Joan Clendenin to the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission with term expiring December 31st, 2027. Any questions from council? Seeing none, I will open item 7 up to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any council member comments? Seeing none, I have a resolution appointing Joan Clendenin to the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission with a term expiring December 31st, 2027. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
A motion by Councilmember Ricky and second by Vice Mayor Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. So that carries unanimously. Item 8, consider approving the appointments of Evan Yoshino as a member at large for a 4-year term from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027, and Martin Montez as a youth member at large for a 1-year term from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 on the City of Modesto Golf Courses Advisory Committee. Any questions from council members? Seeing none, I will open item 8 up to the public. Any comments on that item, please come forward. Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? All right, do I have a motion or resolution approving the appointments of Evan Yoshino as a member at large for a 4-year term from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2027, and Martin Montez as a youth member at large for a 1-year term from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 on the City of Modesto Golf Courses Advisory Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Scooty Brayton, second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmembers Goodyear Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so that carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is public comment. As noted on the agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the city council is asked to follow the rules of decorum. The rules of decorum are posted at the entrance of the chambers. All right. First, blue card, I have several here. First are Jerry, Betty, and Tina.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Councilman, Jose, and also Joseph. It's been a while since I've been up here, so I'm a little nervous. So I'd like to start off to say today is July 9th, but Thursday will be July 11th, which will be our 1-year anniversary that we all lifted the cruising ban. And so I wanted to take today to mention it because we haven't stopped working since last year, and we thought we were going to be able to, but we're really helping a lot of people and a lot of other organizations and with our community, you know, and that's what this is all about. So just wanted to say thank you all again for doing that. Let's see, there's some other thank yous I'd like to mention. Along with yourselves is the Graffiti Museum, of course, our Chief Gillespie in the back, and Ivan Valencia also, for all their support. I'd like to thank all of our cruising car clubs here in Modesto for their support, because really without them, this wouldn't have happened either. But there is one thing that I don't understand, and we have a wonderful lowrider exhibit at our McHenry Museum, as you know, Eric. But yet they refuse to have us up there on the wall and acknowledge Betty and Jerry and I as the ones that lifted the ban, and we don't understand why. So maybe you could help us, you know, we could look into that. So yeah, so that's really about it, and we just want to thank everybody, and we have some supporters here also that came in to support us today of that, and we just keep moving forward and helping our car community and anybody else that comes forward to ask for our help. So thank you again, Mayor, and all of you. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, John Frayling.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Good to see you all. I'm here to talk about the grants pass decision, which was issued by the Supreme Court on Thursday. They decided in that decision that each community has the right to make its own decision on how to address homeless people. They declared the Eighth Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, does not prohibit a community to jail someone for the act of camping when they have no place else to live. There will be a domino effect from this decision. It is not a secret that Modesto has an ordinance that allows arrest of homeless folks, another that allows confiscation of personal property, and another allows rousting of folks who are camping on public or private property. It is also not a secret that there have been many proposals discussed with the members of this council that would provide for safe sleeping areas and that would allow folks to avoid being subject to these ordinances. There needs to be pursued with increased vigor these different remedies to homelessness. The heat is here, and shortly the cold will descend. The impact of this decision will be significant to both Modesto and Stanislaus County. Bay Area communities have already called for a purge of their homeless population. Where will they go? If we arrest our homeless citizens, this will create increased work for our police force. It will stress our judicial system. It will be expensive, and it will not solve the problem. Once released, an individual will have a criminal record, which will add to the difficulty of becoming employed, and most significantly, they will still have no place to go. The problem is not solved, it is aggravated, and the circle of failure will be repeated. We must stop this circle. We must not abide by failure. Another of the possible dominoes that could fall would be the creation of homeless camps just outside of our city limits. We may receive an influx from the Bay Area. Perhaps garbage and sanitation issues will worsen, and that's not tolerable. When sanity is restored and we care about the least advantaged in our community, we will all prosper. There are solutions that are within our reach, both financially and morally. Let's work with the Board of Supervisors and the business community to set up a framework that will provide safety to those of our streets, in our parks, and those who are just trying to survive. Let's change the ordinances that make the homeless criminals. It is tough enough to find a job without being burdened by a criminal record. Some of us offer our services to amend the current ordinances to provide civil remedies for our homeless citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Patrick Worley.
I handed, this isn't part of my comment, I handed this young lady right here a paper for you, Sue, to follow
Oh, yes.
along with.
Okay, this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
So, this paper here is a scorecard for the police departments of California. Modesto scores in the 46th percentile, which means that let's see, hold on. It means whatever. If you can go to page 3, Sue, you will see police shootings. There has been 11 shootings since 2013. That's 2.1 every 100,000 arrests. All right. Deadly force by armed status. 40% of the people that were shot were unarmed. 70% of those people that were shot by police or used deadly force did not allegedly have a gun. That's crazy. Police violence by race. You'll see the Latin community is at 38%. Paul Chavez was of that descent. Let's go to deadly force. 10 killings by police from 2013 to 2021. 1.1. One person killed for every 10,000 arrests. That's wild. That's a wild number. Police shootings where police did not try non-deadly force before shooting. 73%. 73%. What the hell? That's crazy. Wow. Use of force complaints. 16 reported, whatever. Crimes committed by police. 6 reported crimes by police. Complaints of police discrimination. 16 reported. And that was for the year. And as you can see, there's a little graph. It keeps going up and up and up. That costs the city of Modesto lots of money. Let's see here. Arrests for low-level offenses. 53,910 arrests. 35 per 1,000 residents. Crazy. Low-level offenses. That could be jaywalking. Crazy. You know, if you go back here, Sue, to, let's see here, the second page. Let's see. Police accountability. 6 That's worse. If you look at the graph, it goes, the higher percentage, the better. Lower the percentage, worse. Police accountability, 6%. Do you see that, Sue?
No.
She's not looking. Oh, well.
It's like a deer in a headlight.
So real quick, I'm here for Paul Chavez. He was murdered almost 2 years ago on the 14th. I got a little snippet I wanted to play. If you just give me 1 second.
Go mad. Oh no. What is this?
That's his kids opening up presents.
Hold on, stop.
You hear his voice? That's Paul Chavez. He was killed by Officer Sam Muncie. That's his kids opening up presents.
It's a Minecraft again.
I'm going to turn that off, but the crazy part about that, his wife is now dead too. When will you guys give a fuck? It's crazy.
Oh, look, they care now because you used the naughty word.
Next, I have Teresa Clutter.
Our lives are more important than a naughty word said in a room full of adults.
I'm here for my son, Paul Chavez, who was wrongfully murdered by Sam Muncie and tased by Sergio Valencia within 26 seconds of arriving, waking him up to chase him around with a gun and a taser pointed at him. I know this was personal. I don't care what Sam Muncie says. But he was in that EMT with Paul 3 weeks prior, taking him to a 5150 hold. So when that call was dispatched and it said Paul Chavez, I think it's bullshit that he says he didn't know who it was and he didn't remember. He chooses not to remember. I wish I could choose not to remember that day. I wish I could choose not to hear my grandsons cry when they found out the police killed their father and they heard the gunshots.
Yep.
I wish my grandsons could hear everything that took place that day, or everything that took place, I wish they didn't hear it. I wish they would have a normal life. I wish their mother was here fighting this fight. But because of the things that Sam Muncie did that day, killing my son-in-law for no reason, because he was pissed off, because he didn't like him, because I don't know why. He was having a bad day, I guess. And there's no accountability. There's no justice for my family. Watching my daughter suffer as a widow and raising 3 young boys alone and grieving and protesting and coming here to fight.
All unheard.
And what did it do? What did it change? How do you explain this to 3 innocent boys who just want their parents? How do you explain this in any kind of logical way to make it okay? Because if you have an answer, I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear it. So maybe I could tell my grandsons. This is the most unbearable thing that our family has ever endured. I would not wish this on anybody. He killed my son July 14, 2022 within 26 seconds. And my daughter fought so hard for her justice. She fought hard for her husband. She longed for him. And she couldn't even grieve the way a person should be able to grieve. She had to grieve and fight at the same time and try to raise her sons and hold down her job and still be a mother. Do you know how difficult that is? You don't. Because you don't walk in her shoes. You don't walk in mine. But at the end of the day, there are 3 young boys that don't have parents now. And now I am carrying that torch. And I will continue to carry that torch forever until she gets the justice that she deserved to get. She doesn't even get to see the outcome. And it's not fair. Life is so unfair. But what you guys can do is help make it better and hold your cops accountable. Make them be self-insured.
6%.
All right.
Justice for my son, Paul Chavez. May he rest in peace forever with my daughter. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves for not doing better. You call yourself a city. You call yourself a council. You're up here because you say you want to do good, but what are you doing?
Teresa, can you time? Next is Diane Cruzy.
6%.
Diane?
Where's the villains, huh?
1312. 1312. 1312. 1312.
My name is Diane Cruzy, Mayor, City Council. I'm here because of the homeless people are still out there. And the heat we've had is extreme, and the cold will be the same thing, and then we'll probably have the rain. So right now, nothing is really going on that's going to help anybody, them especially. So I have a picture here. I'm sure you've all seen homeless people before. This is from a B paper, and it was about 2021. There's not much difference now, though. You could probably find somebody just like him somewhere. So I'm just here to remind you that I wish you would be a little more humane and figure out what should be done instead of trying to just fix the covers and kind of cover it up. Unfortunately, that's what I consider the 10th and 9th and D Street. That's a psychotic place. That's only for people that are mentally ill. And the majority of the homeless are not that way. They may get that way once they're out there. But anyway, so I'm just going to let us think about it, and I'll just stand here and wonder if you folks are going to do anything different somewhere along the line.
It's awkward for me. I don't know if it gets to it. You gotta look at that. But there's 3 on the left.
How's it? Pretty easy. It's pretty damn easy.
People are suffering right now outside, and there's a lot of them suffering inside. And you can hear the voices very loudly, and unfortunately, they do exist, and you cannot pretend they don't. And that is exactly what you're doing. And the Supreme Court has not helped at all, because now they have loosed everybody that does not like to do anything about this kind of thing, because you look down upon that particular people. And they don't have any power, so therefore they can't do anything. They just have people like me that come up here and try to remind you that they are there.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Next is Manuela.
Hello. I'm really glad we have kids here to hear the horrendous police department that they probably think they can go to if something terrible were to happen. And they might even go to August 6th thinking, oh, yay, the cops, how fun, community event. Well, we just heard multiple people talk about the disgusting Modesto Police Department. Paul Chavez Jr., 2 years, July 14th, he will be dead because of this city's police department. Why won't you guys do anything? Like, it blows my mind. Don't you think these kids are about the same age as Paul Chavez's children? I hope these kids are hearing that these cops don't care about us. They will kill fathers, they will kill mothers. I am talking to you, Sue.
Thank you.
Start the time over then.
Thank you.
You interrupted, that's against the law.
Go ahead, Manuela.
So, The police department is killing people and you don't care. What is the point of your jobs? Literally, what is the point of any of your jobs? You stare at me like I'm some idiot just blathering up here like we all are. But we are here to keep you accountable because you are not caring about the city that you say you care about. The police department who's back there, disgusting. 6% accountability? My God, that's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Why do you not care? Why do you not care about your community? People are suffering, dying, who are unhoused, and you guys want to give $2 million worth of cars to cops again? Who is that serving? That is serving the powerful. That is serving those who are going to go out there and shoot us, who have shot people. It is not serving the people who are in this community. People who are unhoused. People who are taking 3 jobs just to survive because rent is insane. What are you guys doing? Seriously, think about it. You stare at me with your blank faces, but you aren't doing anything. We want clean air in the Central Valley. We have a rating of F, and thank you for the VIP for bringing that up. We've got people who, we're in extreme heat weather, and what do the cops do? Oh, we'll just go and jail them. Oh, great idea. We've got so many buildings in Modesto that are not doing anything. They're sitting there, dilapidated. We need money. Use money then to make that into something for people who are unhoused. Do something. There are libraries in the United States that are having caseworkers there to help people. We know the unhoused community go to the library because it's a safe space, because it is a place where people can go when it is hot, because they can get some reprieve. Do more about the reprieve. And do something about these cops who keep murdering people. I'm going to leave my last few seconds in honor of Paul Chavez.
I saw that face you made to mock.
Next is Sebastian Jones.
With my eyes, sitting right here, I saw it. Blubbering on Eric, I saw it. Mocking her.
I'm going to make one comment. Please do not disrupt the orderly conduct of these proceedings by continuing to speak out from the audience. That's the first warning. Sebastian?
You ready? Good afternoon, Mayor, and my fellow City Council. Mayor, me and you sit on the board for well over 10 years. Together. And I'm still there. The Barker Committee, I'm still there. But let me say this and I'll get back to you. You are the city attorney.
Sebastian, you need to speak to the council, not directly to staff.
Okay, well, I'll just look at you and I'll say what I say.
Yeah.
All right, give me 2 minutes back on my clock. All right, 5 minutes back on my seconds. But your city attorney is not looking out for the people. He makes well over $200,000, and I felt that he should have been looking out for me too. Now let me get to the point what y'all talking about, what I'm talking about. Mayor, in this town I sit on about 7, 8 boards. I just lost one. The building appeals. You guys denied me for 4 years. We hardly had any players there. But guess what? Jones was there when it was only 2 or 3. Some died, some quit. But Mr. Jones didn't quit. But I suspect the mouse in the house. Mr. Jeremiah. See, he's supposed to be a preacher, deacon, Christian, or whatever. I'm going to give him my name because that's what he wants. I'm nobody, but I do look out for people. If you guys notice when y'all out with me, what do? I give you a hug and a handshake. We don't discuss nothing. We go about our business. Think about it. At all time, you know Jones. But when it come down to here, I've been disrespected. I have never been let go on a board. Not none. This is my first one, the Board of Bill and Appeals. I know it's my voice, but you guys gonna pay. Some lawyer out there is gonna listen to me. Some grand jury or grand something is gonna hear Sebastian out. I'm tired. You took 5 minutes away from me because you listened to Jeremiah. I know where you got it from. He persuaded y'all. Y'all gonna get ran over. That's what he's gonna do. He's not the Christian that we know. See, they come in many disguises. I just read my family history right there. Thank God for me, because I am that natural leader. I know how to perform when I'm out, because I'm in here. It's sad. You know what they told me? Sebastian, I know you've been trying to get a hold to meet with Jeremiah, but that was 2 weeks ago. They told me it's going to take another 2 weeks. Ain't that a shame? A man of my nature, you better get it right and meet with me, because you guys let me go. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. I feel like I feel, but you can ask Mr. Diaz and Jessica, who was a main player there, Mr. Jones, standing, making decisions. And you let me go when we didn't have nobody for 4 years, just only 2 or 3 of us there. But he's in control of it, Mr. Jeremiah. I didn't know that. The woman told me. She said he came on as the top commissioner in January. He's after me. You know why? I'm the longest member to sit on the King County Board of Directors. Let me tell you a little secret. 3 or 4 years ago, he had an early election to get rid of me, but it failed. I was the vice president. It failed. You can't mess with Jones. This is my public meeting with Jeremiah. Stay tuned for the next meeting at the City Council. We're not done, but Mayor, I asked you with kindness. I pray peace to your heart, but get your cabinet in order. And you get your attorney, and you have him to look at the violations that's been on Sebastian.
All right, you've exceeded your time. Thank you. Next is Sarah Johnson. Last name Johnson?
She's right here. She's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Don't you start.
I'm not having fun either. Where's your sile over here, sir? Act like children.
We have one a week.
Like a high school kid. Raise the bar and all.
Well, good evening, Mayor and the rest of these city council members. I really wasn't expecting to speak, but after listening to everybody, and especially the mother that lost her son, I mean, I felt that's that's really was a heartfelt speech that she gave. But I don't want to get back on that because it's just sad the way things are. And I'd like to say something about what Sebastian just said about being cut off and things. He's talked to me before about that, and I know that really hurt him as being a part of the public. And I was considering, he was prepping me for to at least one day get on one of the boards. But after listening to him and seeing the way that you all treat people, I take my consideration back. I don't want to be like you guys, you know, because to me, you guys aren't doing anything, and here I am. I mean, I'm handicapped or disabled, and just for the treatment that you guys gave Sebastian and the mother, it's like I can see why they would throw up the middle finger to all of you. I mean, you know, I'm not that way, but if I was, I'd throw up the middle finger to you guys too and say, and use that F word too. But you know, I'll just leave it at that. And I'm sorry that you guys are the way that you are, but hopefully you guys will change and get things done here the way they should be. So I'm done. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Next is Kim Millentree.
I'm here once again. Good evening, everyone. This is my second time, so I'm not familiar how it all goes, but I am familiar how to represent people. And each and every one of you are representative of us. We vote you in, and we believe that you will do a job for us. And so I'm here to represent my brother, Sebastian. You don't see me. I'm not much around here, but I do stand for people. And if you see a hardworking person, which Sebastian Jones is a very hardworking person, come from a very strong family, even though he might seem off to you all, but he's not. He's very compassionate about what he does. Now he was on the commission, the building code. Now there's no longer. He has passion about what he does. He doesn't waste his time. I'm looking at each and every one of you. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a counselor. I take my job very serious, and I hope and pray that you all do as well. We have hurting people. I've never sat in such a place where it's so heavy, where people, families are dying. We have a person here that wants to support the people of the community, and for whatever the reason, they're taking off that job, that duty. And I think you all owed us a purpose, a reason why. Why was Sebastian taken down? Why do he have to take two weeks to get a call in, and then when he talked with the secretary today, it's 2 more weeks. You all are representing us. You're representing us. Why do we have to wait? Why do we have to wait a month for you to get in touch to give a reason why you've been dismissed? I think you all you owe us. The community, you owe us. You owe us a reason why. I'm very compassionate about what I do. I wouldn't be here speaking like I do if I didn't, because I believe in people. I believe in these people. And you all are here for us. Not for yourselves, but for us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Juan Chavez. All right, we have someone that can help interpret, and we will add 3 more minutes to make it 6 minutes for interpretation.
Good evening. I just want to address that I will be assisting and translating as best as I can for Mr. Chavez.
Muy buenas tardes, concejales. Mi nombre es Juan Chávez. Estoy aquí para contar.
Permítame un momento, yo voy a hablar después de usted. ¿Tiene uno nivel?
No. ¿Tienes uno nivel? Empiezo de... Buenas tardes, concejales. Mi nombre es Juan Chávez. Estoy aquí para contarles sobre la importancia de nuestro esfuerzo en organizar nuestra unión en Kingspan de Modesto.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Juan Chavez. I'm here today to tell you about the importance of our organizing efforts at the Kingspan facility here in Modesto.
Mis compañeros de trabajo y yo comenzamos a reunirnos con organizadores de SMART para exponer muchas de las condiciones laborales inseguras.
My coworkers and I started to meet with SMART organizers to bring forward many of the unsafe working conditions at the facility. It didn't take long for management to find out about us meeting with organizers, and soon after management started with anti-union meetings.
No pasó mucho tiempo antes de que los manejadores de Kingspan se enteraran de que nosotros nos habíamos reunido con los organizadores, y poco después los manejadores empezaron a organizar reuniones antisindicales sindicales. Estas reuniones tenían un solo propósito: para desanimarnos, intimidarnos, para formar un sindicato.
These meetings served only one purpose, and that was to discourage and intimidate us from forming a union.
Primero comenzaron con estas reuniones antisindicales. Poco después los gerentes preguntaban a los trabajadores individualmente si habíamos asistido a las reuniones sindicales, preguntando quiénes más habían asistido a la empresa. Empresas han llegado incluso a dar aumentos salariales más altos. Cualquiera de nosotros haya recibido en más de 20 años para tratar de desanimarnos.
First, they started with these anti-union meetings. Soon after, managers would ask individual workers if they had gone to the union meetings and ask who else had gone. The company has gone as far as to give the highest wage increases any of us have received in over 20 years to try to discourage us.
Incluso después de los aumentos salariales, los trabajadores continuaron organizándose luego de hacer unas semanas después de casi 25 años de duro trabajo. Me despidieron injustamente, injustamente porque no hubo una investigación adecuada, y cuando traté de explicarles, la gerencia respondió empujándome en la cara mis papeles de despedido, y no me pagaron mis cheques finales. Sé que esto se hizo para silenciarnos, poner más miedo en el resto.
Even after the wage increases, workers continued to organize. Then a few weeks ago, after almost 25 years of hard work, I was unjustly terminated. I say unjustly because there wasn't a proper investigation, and when I tried to explain, management responded by shoving my termination papers in my face and not paying me my final check. I know this was done to quiet us and put more fear in the rest.
Después de todo eso, sigo organizándome porque Kingspan es una empresa que no respeta a sus trabajadores y haría cualquier cosa para sacar provecho de nuestro duro trabajo. Como muchos de mis compañeros de trabajo, emigré de México para trabajar duro, para mantener a mi familia y tener éxito. Muchos de ellos también han dedicado más de 20 años en Kingspan. Necesitamos que un sindicato para tener una voz permanente y ser tratados con respeto.
After all that, I continue to organize because Kingspan is a company that doesn't respect its workers and would do anything to profit from our hard work. Like many of my coworkers, I immigrated from Mexico to work hard to support my family and succeed. Many of them have also dedicated over 20 years to Kingspan. We need a union to have a permanent voice and be treated with respect.
Gracias nuevamente por su tiempo y espero reunirme con ustedes pronto si se puede.
Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to meet with you soon. Si se puede.
Thank you. Next is Julian Posadas. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Julian Posadas. I wanted to introduce myself. I think I met some of you already. I just wanted to put a face to a name. I know that Rafael Cabrera sent you all a message, an email requesting an individual meeting. Rafael couldn't be here today because he is actually working the swing shift at Kingspan. Again, my name is Julian Posadas. I'm one of the organizers on this campaign representing SMART, which is the labor union, which breaks down to sheet metal workers, not only with sheet metal workers, but rail and air and transportation. So it's all a combination of all those different sectors. I've been meeting with Kingspan workers not only here in Modesto but also in Santa Ana, which is also an active campaign down in the city of Santa Ana. And one of the most important thing that an organizer could do is meet with workers individually, hoping that the campaign doesn't leak out publicly and the company does exactly what Juan Chavez just explained of like retaliation and doing intimidation tactics just like Kingspan did here. And so we've been collecting a lot of that information. But most importantly, it's about learning about the workers and their needs, identifying further leaders that could carry on this campaign and lead us into a victory. Through all those conversations, and we're talking about not just one conversation, two conversations. I mean, we sit on a very strong committee of 6 worker leaders in Kingspan here who have dedicated their time, but have learned about the consequences that could come when the company finds out their leaders. And unfortunately, this has happened to Juan Chavez. Through all the conversations, we've discovered not only just the lack of respect, all the stuff that Kingspan does on the daily, but also the unsafe working conditions, which led workers to actually file an OSHA complaint last year. The National Labor Relations Act states that workers have the right to organize a union without the fear of threats and intimidations. I think Kingspan just completely just doesn't care. From before the incident of Juan Chavez, we've actually filed 5 unfair labor practices. None of them have been resolved yet. The one with Chavez just adds on to that pile. And I'm sure that through more conversation, there'll be more to be presented to the National Labor Relations Board to move this campaign forward. We know that for every act that the company does, the more fear they put on workers. You can't talk about the union inside the shop because they're afraid that the management will be listening and that leads to retaliation. But we don't give up, and that's why we're here. We need your support. So I'm hoping that we hear from the rest of you. Thank you for those who have already responded. We've received a lot of support. I just want to mention some of the organizations: Faith in the Valley, obviously North Valley Labor Federation, Valley Improvement Project, and some of you have actually met with workers and have come out to actually delegate the boss for some of the many other situations that have happened before. I'm going to leave you all with the letter from Assemblymember Liz Ortega, which has also pledged your support to the workers. So I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.
Next, Will Kelly.
Good evening. Will Kelly. On behalf of the North Valley Labor Federation and all of our membership, we want to stand here in solidarity and support with Kingspan workers who are taking the courageous steps to organize. Thank you to those of you who have already met with or expressed your willingness to meet with the workers. You know, a lot of times when workers are unionizing, sometimes people's first question is, well, what's wrong? What's the problem, right? And often there are things wrong, and you heard a little bit from Juan earlier, and those of you who have met have heard about concerns around pay, and fairness, and safety, and just general lack of respect in the workplace. But I like to remind people, and I think this is a good moment, that workers don't need to justify the decision to form a union. Forming a union is their right. Just like we all have a right to come together to improve our communities, we have a right to come together to improve our workplaces. And that's why it's so disappointing and shameful that companies like Kingspan will put so much time and resources and energy into intimidating and using misinformation and other dishonest tactics to prevent workers from organizing. It can be as simple as a little comment like, oh, who was at the meeting the other day? Things that may not sound like a big deal, but when something is coming from your boss, right, management, right, people who have power over your livelihood, that can be a big deal. Of course, we don't have to explain to anyone how big a deal this is that Mr. Chavez has been terminated. After 22 years with no record of discipline, someone who is clearly identified as a respected and prominent member of the organizing committee. Someone who, I'll add, as we understand it, was, unlike tonight where he was given the opportunity to have interpretation services, was not able to respond to the allegations against him in his own language, in Spanish, which to us only further strengthens our belief that the employer was not interested in the truth or getting to the bottom of whatever they think may or may not have happened, but acting in retaliation for organizing. That takes away workers' livelihood. It intimidates other workers, and it is illegal. And the response will always be in the hands of the workers, of Juan and his co-workers, to decide whether they are going to be afraid and step back or whether they're going to lean in and fight for a better workplace. And so far, all I'll say is I've been so impressed with their courage and resolve. But it's also important to us that we think that this struggle shouldn't happen in the dark, and we want you as community leaders and as city leaders to know about this. And I, again, thank you, those of you who are willing to meet with the workers. I hope you all sit down with them and hear from them, and we can talk about your role as community leaders in making sure that their rights are respected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, Steve.
I have witnessed y'all do so many sketchy, questionable, inappropriate, and illegal things. You don't follow your own rules. So I've witnessed you interrupting speakers a lot, like on several occasions. And some of those occasions, you were quick to like apologize and take it back because it wasn't on purpose, but not on every occasion. Like in general, you are 100% guilty of being a hypocrite in the matter. When it comes to you using rules, you use them to protect your power. You know, you're trying to threaten us with, like, you're going to weaponize the same people that you've already, with help from this guy, okay, had them put their hands on me for, like, the smallest thing possible because I'm here because I care about people. Shame on you, okay? I witnessed earlier Eric Alvarez make a very, very clear, distinct, blatant facial expression of mockery when the speaker said something to the effect of, I know you'd think we just get up here and blather or something like that. I saw it. And I'm sure other people in the room saw it. I can't really guarantee that, right? And I don't know where the cameras are pointed. It was like the time where Mr. Bavaro called now deceased widow of one of the cops' murder victims stupid while she spoke online. You guys don't have to worry about that because you use the excuse of when the times that you platform neo-Nazis, that gave you the opportunity to take Zoom away from us, the dissent in the community, the people that care about each other, to come here to tell you that what you're doing is not okay. I've seen the hypocrisy. So Sue, if you want us to see you as like a human with a heart, which I think you have. Earlier I noticed, talking about like nursing, you either faked it really well, or or there's some part of you that has compassion for people. So maybe you compartmentalize your compassion. I don't know. I can't really assume that. All I'm up here to do is objectively state the hypocrisy that I've witnessed on so many times. Nick Bavaro, first of all, ran around. I intentionally kept a barrier. This dude ran around while I was talking to run up into my face, which counts as assault. He then a moment later, in front of you and Brandon Gillespie, the police chief, invited me to fight him in the parking garage. What kind of nightmare are we living in here? Is it a comedy? Is this dark humor? I mean, in a way, it's hilarious. I saw this dude making a mocking face while she spoke. He's pretending like I'm making this up when he called Brittany stupid, but who cares even if that didn't happen? You guys guffaw, you shift in your chairs. He sighed really loudly just tonight, Mr. Bavaro did. So stop trying to use that to silence us. We're good people, we care. We get upset because you have murderers in the back of the room posting up to intimidate us. Maybe I'll die someday. Maybe I'll lose my temper and give those bastards an excuse to shoot me. Maybe I'll have a spatula in my hand. Maybe I'll have a cell phone in my hand. Maybe I'll have a trail hitch in my hand. Maybe I will have had a bad day.
Steve.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Have a good evening. That's all some of you folks know how to say. Have a good evening.
Next, I have Norma Hernandez. Yes, if we could have an interpreter, and thank you, 6 minutes.
Tengo más de 2 años esperando los cheques de ustedes, que metí varios complaints. Al parecer a ustedes no les gusta pagar los daños que hacen los policías y los sheriffs. ¿Y probación?
I have been waiting 2 years for the checks from the complaints that I have submitted against the police.
También puse un complaint para el fiscal Yel Laurero, porque según él iba a investigar al fiscal que llevó el caso donde balacearon a mi hijo aquí en el Palerio en el 2021. Y hasta ahorita no han cerrado el Palerio porque ustedes se están haciendo ricos de allí, mientras yo batallando para mantener a mi hijo. ¿Ok? Veo que habemos muchas víctimas y ustedes muy de corbata, muy a gusto y muy sentados, y yo batallando por una silla.
I'm sorry, I'm going to try my best to interpret. She's saying that she has been waiting for something to be done. She has put in multiple complaints, and her son has been suffering.
Ok, ¿hasta cuándo van a cerrar el Palerio?
She wants to know when, I'm sorry, I don't understand what Valerio.
Mi hijo fue víctima de crimen en el Palerio por 5 y los de seguridad lo sacaron. Él pagó un boleto para entrar al baile.
Palladium, I'm sorry. She said she has been waiting that her son was a victim at Palladium, and she has been waiting for a response.
Mi hijo quedó paralítico.
He is now paralyzed.
Y a ustedes no les ha importado solamente jugar con los sentimientos de nosotros como padre y de mi hijo.
And you are not interested in hearing her out?
Los sheriffs de la Jaque Road, cada vez que ellos quieren van y se divierten con mi apartamento y con mi hijo. Modesto Police igual.
The sheriff's office and Modesto Police are constantly harassing her at her house.
Acabo de poner un complaint en probación porque probación apuntó a la cabeza a mi hijo paralítico, ¿ok? Con 2 paros cardíacos.
She has put in a complaint with the probation office who harassed her son who is paralyzed.
Si algo pasa a mi hijo y a mí nuevamente, ustedes van a ser arrestados junto con los de la mañana porque no hacen caso a nosotros las víctimas.
If something happens to her son, she is holding you all responsible.
Acaban de poner evidencias en mi troca para arrestar a mi hijo paralítico y lo tenían sentado. Tengo testigos en lo caliente 2 veces, 2 tiempos.
Evidence has been planted in her car to convict her son who is paralyzed.
Mientras soltaron a los que pusieron las evidencias junto con el oficial Rico y cambiando de oficiales por el caso.
There have been multiple changes of officers on the case that she is referring to.
¿Hasta cuándo les van a permitir a los oficiales comportarse como criminales? ¿Hasta cuando haya muchos muertos? ¿Hasta cuando California ya no tenga hispanos? ¿Cuándo?
She is waiting for
hasta cuando habemos muchos muertos. Yo soy víctima de crimen, tengo 2 balazos en mi espalda. Nadie sabe que mi hijo fue víctima de crimen en el Palerio. Modesto Police no sabe cuando llevaron el caso.
She wants to know when justice will be served for all the crimes that have been committed.
Faltan 14 de arrestar, porque el que pagó para que matara a mi hijo vive en la calle 8 en Riverbank, se llama Alfredo Reyes Contreras, alias el Kid. ¿Por qué no lo arrestan? Porque trabaja para los sheriffs y la policía de Modesto, vende la droga que quitan.
She named a specific officer that is involved and saying that why. I'm doing my best, I'm sorry.
Say the name.
Alfredo Reyes Contreras, alias El Kid, vive en la calle 8 en Riverbank.
She's saying that he lives on 8th Street in Riverbank.
Mi troca la acaban de balacear, nos acaban de chocar. Todos los días nos tratan de matarnos y ustedes muy contentos. Tengo viniendo más de 50 tiempos a las juntas.
They shot at her truck and she has been at multiple meetings to try and get justice.
El oficial Landeros del departamento del sheriff dijo que no nos van a ayudar. ¿Por qué? Porque yo no hablo inglés. Y cambiándole que mi hijo es ciudadano americano y nació en Modesto y quitándole que es mexicano.
Sheriff's office is refusing to assist her because she is Spanish speaking.
Aquí debe de acabar el crimen primero en el gobierno y después afuera.
That crime should be stopped at the government level and then outside of that.
Hoy vengo a exigirles que me paguen un abogado civil, un abogado criminal y que venga de derechos humanos aquí y un traductor para que yo sepa todas las víctimas que existen porque yo no entiendo.
She is requesting that checks be paid to her for legal, for a civil lawyer and a criminal lawyer, and for interpreting services. That way she's able to understand what is going on with all the victims that are in the room today.
Desde el 2021 estamos haciendo víctimas. Modesto Police me difamó de prostituta de paga. Las prostitutas de paga van a la cárcel, van a la prisión, porque yo tengo mi récord limpio.
Modesto Police has defamed her, saying that she was a prostitute and that she has a clean record.
No me quieren entregar los reportes, yo lo tengo. Pero yo me estoy haciendo la que no lo tengo, ¿ok? Porque quiero cargos en contra de los oficiales.
She has requested police reports that have not been provided to her, but she has them available and she knows the truth.
Le agradezco a la ciudad, que fue la que me dijo, y el laurero, el distrito va contra ti, no te está ayudando. Apenas me enteré esta semana. Y yo confiando en que estaba haciendo un trabajo para arrestar a oficiales y arrestar a los 14 criminales que faltan. Sí, disculpa. Yo pensando que el fiscal y el laurero iba tras del fiscal que no dio la orden para arrestar a los 14 que faltan y cerrar el palerio y la mantención de mi hijo de por vida.
There are 14 people that were involved that have not been arrested yet regarding the incident at Palladium.
Y atrás de los oficiales que me han difamado y han difamado a mi hijo.
Excuse me, can you explain that her time is up and to
I'm going
finish her
to
comments?
interpret what she just said. She said that there's officers as well that have not been charged with the crimes that were committed at Palladium. ¿Y ya es tu tiempo? Dijo la señora.
Sí, permítanme. Necesito tiempo extra porque tengo 2 años viniendo a las juntas y no han hecho nada. Lo único que está pasando es que están tratando de matarme cada vez que yo salgo de las juntas en la mañana.
She has been waiting 2 years for answers regarding her incidents, and she says she needs extra time to speak on that.
All right.
Lo que voy a hacer hoy, voy a poner la carta, voy a poner sus nombres en una carta de protección.
All right, is that it? And then I have a comment to make.
Okay. Dijo que es todo y yo voy a hablar.
All right, I think what we should do is, Allison, if you can give her the contact information to see if city attorney can help.
She wants to know if that'll be civil and criminal as well.
Information only to give assistance. Yeah. All right. All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone else? Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward to speak under public comment at this time? And this is for items not on the agenda.
Can Allison speak Spanish?
Hi, Mayor and Council. I'm Kevin McClarty. So I've been listening to all of this tonight and in many, many prior meetings. Seems to me that if I understand correctly, that the reason that you cannot respond to any of these comments made by citizens, including this fine mother here whose son died and the other mother whose son is paralyzed and other parents whose children have been hurt by police, is because of the Brown Act and because of the fear of impending liability. Now, I'd like to know exactly what specific clause of the Brown Act prohibits you from responding. I know that you are not able to interact with people while they're up here, but are you able to respond to them at any other part of the meeting? And also, I know that there are mayors of large cities that go to the media, they're quoted on the news. You know, Mayor so-and-so of San Francisco said this, Mayor so-and-so of New York City said this and that. I don't understand why the mayor of Modesto is not allowed to go to the media and speak and be quoted so that you could know how the mayor feels about things, or why council members are not quoted. I mean, is there some sort of a law or something that prohibits the mayor and city council members from interacting with the media when they're not here at a council meeting, but when they're out on their own? I mean, it just seems to me that I think that the problem is that the only time we really know how the mayor feels about issues is the annual State of the City address. That's the only time we ever know. And that basically is a compilation of what the mayor hopes to accomplish in the following year. It's not really a response to any of these issues at hand. So how, when, and where can the mayor and the council respond? Is there a time frame within the city council meeting that you can respond? And if the Brown Act is what is preventing this, what specific clause of the Brown Act is prohibiting it? What exactly does it say? And is there any way around it? Can it be manipulated in any way whatsoever so that people can get some sort of a response, some sort of a sense of how you feel about these things? I think that is what is missing, and I think that's why people are upset. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was right, you broke it off. Over and over.
All right.
All right, over.
Do you want to speak?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
And big mouth me, I've got something right now to say to everybody. You guys down the police and all that stuff, then I'm gonna tell you something about a killing right here in town. Years ago, I walked into a room. A man is laying on a bed. His hand is up at his head. A gun is at the end of the bed. Police put it down on record. He committed suicide. Now, let me turn around and tell you the truth of the whole thing. A person shot that man in the head. And yes, I know who it was, or I'll change that. I think I do because of what happened not long afterwards. But police are policemen. They work their heads off all the time trying to help people. Quit downing those son of a guns so doggone much, because we need police. And any of you in this city who sits and downs a police the way these guys have done today, if I had the guts, I'd do something right against it. No, I don't have the money to do it, but by gollies, it needs to be done. Because police are needed, and the way you guys are talking is to get rid of the police, and we need police in this town.
Sounds like a threat, Sue. Sounds like a threat.
It is a threat.
Yeah, she's
If I
gonna
could
kill
do
us,
it,
Sue.
if I could do
You're gonna let her
anything,
say
I
that, though.
gladly would. But the
You're
mayor,
allowing her to literally
shut up
make
a minute
threats
and
to
let
murder
me.
Excuse me, you've been warned and given a fair warning, and you have elected to continue disrupting the meeting. This is your last warning, and with any further disruption, you will be asked to leave. It is Loretta's time. Go ahead.
She's breaking the law.
Excuse me?
She's threatening to kill me and my friends.
No.
I haven't threatened to kill anybody.
Okay, Loretta, it's your time.
But I do know of some killings. I myself have been accused of a theft right here in this town. Yes, I was told sue the police. For what? Because a person stands in a Cress's store stating I stole 14 LP records out of J.C. Penney's. Frank Pearson had to have been the judge. Frank gave me a month in jail, probation, and everything because of that. Some of you guys may know of it, but I want that put on record. I myself have an illness that I started at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and now we've just come up with possibility of it being encephalitis is what's caused it. And nobody knows of this. But there are some things that can happen, and narcotics definitely cause a lot of it, an awfully, awfully lot of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comment at this time for items not on the agenda? Loretta, just please go to your seat or exit if you were going to leave. I'm not sure which.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little nervous, so pardon the
It's all right.
I'm here to, in a friendly way for my place in the community, support the people who have come up here demanding justice for their families who have been victims of police action, police brutality, police shootings. The statistics that were read off were really disturbing. And listening to the woman describe an officer pointing a gun at her disabled son, which was not translated, by the way, pointing a gun at her disabled son was heartbreaking. Now, I'm not a subject matter expert. I haven't had the chance to attend the police accountability meetings, maybe one day, if they're held at a time where I'm not working. What I do know is that these stories are heartbreaking, and it's not really something that I can understand watching everyone in the council be, to be frank, stoic about it, while people are up here crying about their deceased loved ones. I've heard statements from council members saying that they have met with families, but clearly there's a disconnect. If week after week after week, we're seeing people pouring their heart outs out here. It's hard to watch the city kind of applaud police events, Coffee with a Cop, and the National Night Out donating police cruisers to put on display as I believe propaganda is the term. It's hard to listen to people applaud the positive, air quotes, aspects of police departments without actually addressing the concerns about the same department. It's hard to watch the department being put up on a pedestal without any public comment to the criticism. It's important to have both. It's important to address criticism. Again, not an expert on legalities, not sure what the law is regarding addressing public comment, but I've seen heartbreak. I've seen people demanding answers and then quiet, straight face from everybody. So I'm not understanding that disconnect. That's all that I have to say. I'd like to donate the last seconds of my time for a moment of silence for everyone who's lost a loved one, to Mr. Paul Chavez and everyone else who's been murdered in police action. Thank you.
All right, anyone else under public comment for items not on the agenda? Seeing none, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone in the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Seeing none, will the city clerk please read the consent items? Thank you.
Item 9, consider approving the minutes for the June 25th, 2024 council meeting. Item 10, consider accepting the 2024 citywide internal controls review report. Item 11, consider approving the purchase of a public safety computer-aided dispatch system and associated public safety mobile and workstation licensing from Central Square Technologies for a total amount not to exceed $2,977,904. Item 12, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to fiscal year 2023-2024 annual operating and CIP budgets. Item 13, consider approving a First Amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Stanislaus Council of Governments for Regional Early Action Planning Grant Program funds. Item 14, consider a one-year extension of the Transient Occupancy Tax Funding Agreement and the Modesto Tourism Marketing District Owners Association Agreement with Visit Modesto for tourism marketing services. Item 15, consider accepting the Sutter Avenue Straighten and Replace Water Mains project as complete, releasing securities, releasing payments totaling $2,245,435 to West Valley Construction Company out of Stockton, and authorizing the city clerk to file a notice of completion. Item 16 has been removed from consent for a separate vote. Item 17, consider approving the purchase of various fleet replacements for public safety fleet vehicles, which includes 22 Ford Interceptors and 5 Chevrolet Tahoes in the amount not to exceed $1,980,238. Item 18, consider approving the purchase agreements for the purchase of equipment and vehicle parts and services with Terex Services out of Stockton and Golden State Emergency Vehicle Services from Sacramento for a total amount not to exceed $1,250,000 over 5 years. Item 19, consider approving the purchase agreements for the purchase of equipment and vehicle parts and services with Sencal Auto and Truck Parts out of Modesto and Rush Truck Centers out of Ceres for a total amount not to exceed $1 million over 5 years. Item 20, consider approving the City of Modesto Pandemic Recovery Strategy Modesto Forward Grant Agreements with Del Rio CC Foundation, First Tee, Central Valley, and the Boys and Girls Club of Stanislaus County for $250,000 each and a total amount not to exceed $500,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funding. Item 21, consider approving the Culture Commission's request to move forward in issuing its request for proposals calling for artists and muralists for Modesto's 150th anniversary mural project. Item 22, consider approving a list of projects to be funded with Road Repair and Accountability Act stroke tax proceeds for fiscal year 2024-2025. Item 23, consider approving the Second Amendment with Champion Industrial Contractors Incorporated out of Modesto for on-call plumbing services, increasing the agreement amount by $120,000 for a new total amount of $552,370 within the term of the agreement. Item 24, consider approving an agreement with East Bay Municipal Utility District out of Oakland, California for the disposal of non-hazardous brine waste for a total amount not to exceed $352,450 over 3 years.
May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as read? As read. Then we'll do item 16 later. Motion by Councilmember Wright. Second by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for these items?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez. Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye. Carries unanimously, 7-0. Now we will have consent item 16. Thank you.
And I will read the title. Item 16, consider approving agreements with Burton Fire out of Modesto, California for the purchase of fire fleet parts and services for a total amount not to exceed $625,000 over 5 years.
All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilmember
Second.
Wright, second by Councilmember Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll for item 16?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez. Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye. Carries 6-0 with one recusal. At this time, we will take a 5-minute break and resume at 7:23 for council comments and reports. All right, next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any council members have any comments and reports? Council Member Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. To answer one of the questions, why we do not respond during Hear the Public, at the advice of the city attorney, we are to just listen to the public during that time, and then we can make our public comments under council comments, which I will do right now. First of all, I would just like to acknowledge Councilman Jeremiah Williams as not only my good friend, I consider him a brother. He's a man of integrity, honesty, strong character, and have a strong faith in his Lord. I will ignore the words that I heard tonight because those are not the true words about my colleague, Councilman Jeremiah Williams, and I will stand up and defend him 100%. I also want to stand up for the Modesto Police Department. Modesto, I'm very proud of our police department. They are ranked one of the best, not only in the state of California, but in the nation. Under the leadership of Chief Gillespie, the City of Modesto Police Department has one of the first police review boards. They were first in the state of California for certification of autistic people in our community. And they are well-trained, and I will tell you, I've been on 5 ride-alongs with the police department, 6 counting this Friday. I've been with the gang unit, I've been with the patrol, I've been with K-9, and it's a very difficult job to maintain order and safety for our community. While most of us run from crime, Modesto, like all other police departments, run to crime to try to get that issue mitigated. So I am not going to sit up here and take this anti-police rhetoric seriously by a handful of people in our community. The Modesto Police Department, under the leadership of Chief Gillespie, as I said, is one of the best in the nation, and I'm proud to say that their Modesto Police Department is recognized throughout not only the state but the nation for their training and professionalism. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Next is Councilmember Escudia Brayton.
Thank you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to applaud and emphasize Councilmember Bavaro's comments. I agree with them and could not have said it any better. Thank you, Councilmember. Also, since our last convening as a council, we celebrated the 4th of July, our nation's independence, and it was a very hot one. I very much enjoyed the celebration that our community has always stepped up and came out to the 4th of July parade. I had the honor of participating in it again this year, and again, it did not disappoint. Thank you, Councilmember Jeremiah Williams, for your leadership in coordinating that event. You have been quite the busy bee lately, coordinating a myriad of events, all in support of our community and our families. So thank you very much for all you do for our community.
Thank you.
Very much, including the Stanislaus County Fair. They were one of the entities that elected to celebrate 4th of July with a drone show. As a board member for the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control Board, they were beneficiaries of a grant from the district, and as a result, had a drone show celebration, as well as the South Modesto Business United did as well that day. I had the opportunity to speak at that particular event. Over 2,000 of our community members went to that event. It was at El Rematito in West Sacramento, and what I saw was just an amazing celebration of flights. What I didn't see was the best of the best, and that what I didn't see is I didn't see smoke in the air. I didn't see trash afterwards, and that is a good thing. And that's what drones allow us to do, celebrate our 4th of July while not having dangerous fireworks explode, contribute immensely poor quality air pollution to our already strained air quality in the Central Valley, and just drain our resources. So again, it was wonderful to participate in those community events. I'm glad that everyone enjoyed themselves, and I was glad to be part of it. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I also want to echo Councilmember Bavaro's thoughts here. Tonight we've heard a lot of false narratives about the Modesto Police Department and about this council. I think that we've learned a lot over the past 4 years, and that the city has made a ton of important changes that include a civilian police review board, an independent police auditor, a mental health response team, the chat team, the community health and assistance team. That's an alternate response model. And it was so successful, it won a statewide award for its effectiveness. Park rangers, Michael Baldwin's Community Connection Program, the autism certification that Nick was talking about, and much, much more. The comments that this city hasn't heard and reacted to activists is patently false, and I think this city is going to continue to learn and to improve, and we aren't going to stop. And along those lines, I also want to say that, like the other council members, I'm excited about the upcoming National Night Out. I think it's a great time for our neighbors to come together and connect with their police department and get to know each other. It works, and I'm proud of the results. And also, I want to congratulate MPD on a successful demolition derby last night. Making it all the way to the final heat is some really good progress. But I do want to say, like, we want the cup. We want the cup, man. Let's get to the end, man. We can do it. All right. I want to talk about a couple other things here. Tourism is something that we voted on tonight. I just think it's a very important part of our future economy here in Modesto. As many places in the world are kind of suffering from over-tourism, the fact that Americans are thirsty for new, novel, and genuine adventures can't really be argued. And so Modesto has a wealth of assets that we're developing, whether it's our graffiti heritage, the Almond Blossom Tour, the Garage Sale Fest, the Graffiti Museum, the Children's Museum, Gala State Theater, so much more. And I'm just thrilled that we have a tourism bureau that's, developing our tourism industry and giving Modesto some of the best public relations we've ever had, like including positive stories in New York Times, Washington Post, Good Housekeeping, Afar, and many others. Thanks so much, Mayor, for the time.
All right, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the students that are here today. Some of them are from my district, taking some notes on how we operate here in the city council, and I'm glad that you stuck around. That's the sad part, that people that do comment during public comment, 99% of them get up and leave, and they don't stick around and listen to what we have to say. So that's the sad part. Couple things. Councilmember Ricky and Bavaro, I applaud you on what you say, and I totally agree with both of you on what your comments were. Also, Modesto Go app, is the new one's out, and I've been had a call from one of my constituents about a tree issue. I told him to download the new Modesto Go app. He got it and he called me in, and we struggled through it. There's a lot of information on there. I think the more I look at it, the more I like it, but it is going to take a little bit of getting used to. It's a little bit different. You have to know where to go to make a request, and I know that most people use the Go app in order to make a request on a problem they're having in their neighborhood. So I just recommend that you look at it and go. If you have any questions, call your council member. I'm sure they'll help you through it. Don't call me. No, call me or call your council member. They'll help you through it. But it is going to give you some good information, not only for doing a request, but if you want to get on Facebook, Instagram, or go right to our website, it's really, it's going to be a very, very good app. I think there's some bugs that be worked out on it, but I think it's going to be good. Also, on 4th of July, it was good to see Modesto Air 1 up in the sky. It was circling around my home for a good 45 minutes.
For a good reason.
And well, I've seen all the fireworks going off probably within half a mile of my residence, but I know that there will be quite a few citations going out, and standing out there for 30 minutes watching Air 1, I was wishing that we had increased those fines a little bit higher. So I'm looking for a report from down the road. And also I saw a couple of drones up there. So I don't know if that was Modesto PD or the sheriff's drones that were up there taking some film. But anyway, 4th of July parade was excellent. It was hot, but not unbearable. And we had a great time, and there was a lot of residents out for 4th of July, and it was a beautiful day. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank all my colleagues for their comments, particularly Councilmember Bavaro. Yes, we are very good friends, and I actually feel like everyone on this panel and everyone on this council I'm really good friends with, and I appreciate their friendship. We had a 4th of July parade, and it went over well, and we were thankful that all of the city council members who were able to make it there, and then one who had a proxy, but for the most part, it was, everything went well. We did start about 15 minutes early, about 12 minutes early, so that we can get people home in a safe environment, a cooler environment. But we're very thankful, and we are still honored and thankful that we were able to honor the Grand Marshals, which was the Modesto Garden Club, which they celebrated 100 years and have done so much to our community. Also the Hometown Hero, which was Jeffrey and Margaret Reed of George Reed's and Associates and family companies and others, companies that they have, did so much for our community, and we wanted to make sure he's the four generations in this community. And then Darren Morris, who was a champion of the Fourth, who actually was a part of and still a part of helping 100 bands in our community from ages 4 to 18 years old. He's a rock star, just doing so much for our community. We're thankful for him and the honor that the City of Modesto and the Modesto Kiwanis Club was able to give him on that particular time. And I do too admire the fact that these young people are out here. I know that young man is eyeing your seat, David, so be careful. And also, the Stanislaus County Fair, started the next day after the 4th of July parade. And of course, it was record heat out there, but we still braved the heat. There were people that showed up. We could sure use some more people to come. We are thankful that the MPD did reign strong. And yes, they may not take the cup, but they'll take the piston. Home, hopefully on Sunday, and we thank you, Chief, for being out there. And I do want to say this: there's so much going on in the community. It's 5 before 5, but we'll say this: $5 before 5 o'clock at the fair every day. Get there before 5 o'clock. You only have to pay $5. Sunday is free from 12 to 3. There's still concerts and rides and cotton candy and popcorn and hot dogs and so many other things. But I do want to say this, all of us, and I'll have to say it for me, but I feel like I can say it for all of us. We care about every citizen in this community, and we do truly care if they hurt. However, as it was already stated, we are to be able to listen to our constituents, listen to the community, and because of the fact that some things we can't talk about because of the legality, but we, if not we, all, I truly care for each and every individual in this community, and if they're hurting, I'm hurting. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. And then Councilmember Bavaro had his name next again.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak again. There were two other items I failed to address. One of our community members spoke here to the public about council and the mayor communicating our thoughts and our opinions in the city of Modesto. And I don't know about anybody else, but I know that Councilman Ricky Alvarez, Rosa, the mayor, are on Facebook, and none of them are shy about expressing their opinions and their wishes on how to make Modesto a better place for us all to live, work, and raise our families. We also see that we have a new community public relations director.
Sonia.
Sonia. What's her, how do you? Public relations. Sorry about that, Sonia. We have seen such a large communication improvement in our community, and her involvement it's like day and night, and so she is doing, in my opinion, a great job.
Amen.
And so for myself, I try to use a little bit of Facebook, but my strength is when my district, I have neighborhood meetings with my district, and that's where I best communicate myself. And speaking about my district, I've noticed an increase of homelessness in Modesto and in my district. And speaking with some of the homeless people the last couple of days, get out of this heat and try to get into some shelter. They're just not interested. The ones I've talked to are just not interested. They want to be in the parks or on the sidewalks, and I find that to be still a real issue for us. And it just, I don't want to say it makes me mad or sad, but it just, it's very difficult to get people who are not in their right mind to try to get services. So, but I noticed an increase, and I even had a conversation with the city manager about that this morning or this afternoon. So with that, I'll conclude. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo the sentiments of all of my colleagues in expressing gratitude to Modesto Police Department under the leadership of Chief Brandon Gillespie for their dedication to making Modesto a safe place to live, work, and raise our families. I've mentioned this before, and some of my colleagues have also, but I want to state some 2023 statistics. Homicide is down 22%, was down 22% in 2023. Auto theft was down 6%, property crime was down 16%, and violent crime was down 15%. These numbers don't lie. Even if the numbers are the numbers. Switching gears, I want to thank SMBU and El Rematito and Mr. Marquez and his family, the owners of Rematito, on Crow's Landing for their 4th of July drone show. It was a great turnout. I remember last year there was approximately 5,000 people in attendance. I'm not sure this year. I would imagine it was the same. That was really great to be able to be alongside my colleague, Rosa Escutia-Brayton, and other leaders from throughout the region, including Congressman Duarte, Mayor Javier Lopez, and a couple of Turlock School Board members, Supervisor Chance Condit, and others. It was a really good time, a really safe place to be, and a really just happening place to be. There's a lot of food vendors, a lot of aguas frescas, and a lot of just American and Mexican culture just colliding. It was just a really good, vibrant place to be on 4th of July. Also, I want to make some comments on some of the public comments that were made earlier regarding an application process to join a commission or a committee. Our application processes, as I would imagine other entities and agencies are based on merit. And there's a merit-based application process for committees and commissions, and I would not take the advice that was said earlier, that if you technically, for example, this is the same thing, if you apply for a job and don't get it, and you give the middle finger to that potential employer, that only justifies the prospective employer's decision in not choosing you. But logic is, come on, fundamental logic there. And so I want to thank the youth for attending and to really use your independent thought process and critical thinking. When you hear certain things, you know, people are free to say what they want. You have the decision to make your critical thinking process on your own. And so I would just recommend that. And then we do respond to comments. I've responded to activists a couple of times, a couple of meetings ago, during my council comments, which is the appropriate time to do it. And we respond if it's warranted and if it's substantive, but we're not going to get roped into petty squabbles. You got the wrong council. This is just not the council for petty squabbles. And I think that's where the frustration lies, is that they can't really bait us like they want to. I mean, it caught me a couple of times. We know we're all human. But I think if we're stoic, we're damned. If I make a face or flinch, you heard it. So what do? I would like that gentleman to give me some recommendation on what he thinks I should do, how I should lead. So again, I wish they were here, but it saddens me that they're not. And that's only justifies the fact that, you know, we are here and we care. We're here every scheduled meeting, we are here. And what we also cannot do is comment on ongoing legal proceedings. That's very black and white. So thank you, Mayor. That's all I have tonight.
You're welcome. Sometimes it's difficult to know what to say. One culminating thought, I guess, that I had is that I'm so proud and honored to serve as the mayor of our city, the city that I was born in and raised our 6 children in and now grandchildren. And I'm so honored to be amongst council members that work so diligently to improve our city, and to also be with staff that work so diligently. I have to admit I will meet with anyone and discuss any topic or any questions. It's just a matter of setting up the appointment. And I will meet personally one-on-one. I think anyone here will attest to that. And I'm dedicated to doing that. Just a couple of noteworthy items. Mo-Band. George Gardner was a part of Mo-Band for 60 years and is retiring. He's been the director for 42 years. It was an honor to be there with Jeremiah to present him a beautiful wooden note with the city's logo that Jeremiah built for him. Everyone's commented on the parade. It was so fun and delightful to see the streets lined with people to enjoy the parade. One piece of business I did want to note is that we had an audit committee meeting this afternoon. And this is an opportunity for us to be completely transparent with information that has been investigated, and we have dug deep to get information about detail-wise how we can improve our city. So we had that meeting today, received the reports, and that is something that not a lot of people pay attention to, but is extremely important for a city to run smoothly. So I'm grateful for that. I am also very thrilled that we have our young people here and a few others that have stayed till the end. Appreciate your support and thank you for being here. Again, it is an honor to serve. Any other comments? Seeing none at this time, does the city manager have any comments and reports?
Just briefly, Mayor, I just want to thank Raina for jumping in, and you probably don't want to be recognized, but that was a very difficult situation you were put in. You handled it with tremendous grace and professionalism, so thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is hearings, item 25. Hearing to consider approving the adoption of the revised 2022 Modesto Subbasin Groundwater Sustainability Plan and authorize the Stanislaus and Tuolumne Rivers Groundwater Basin Association Groundwater Sustainability Agency to submit the revised 2022 Modesto Subbasin Groundwater Sustainability Plan to the California Department of Water Resources. And we will have a staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Will Wong. I'm the Director of Utilities. And today, as the Mayor mentioned, we have a public hearing for the revised groundwater sustainability plan for the Modesto Subbasin. With me tonight, I have Senior Engineer Jim Alves, in case there are questions that I'm unable to answer. So a little bit of the background of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, otherwise known as SGMA. It was signed into law by Governor Brown in 2014, and essentially it sets the framework of how local agencies are going to make their districts sustainable in terms of groundwater. If a basin is found out of compliance, the state can intervene and oversee the management of groundwater, so taking that out of local control. So that's not what we want. This is why we work together to develop this plan. The Modesto Subbasin is not considered critically overdrafted. However, it is a high priority basin due to the agricultural and municipal interests. A groundwater sustainability plan, or GSP, provides a 20-year roadmap for how agencies are going to manage their groundwater locally. SGMA, the benefit of that is it keeps the control until the local control of the hands of local agencies. However, this is contingent on the agencies adopting an approved plan and meeting all the milestones that we have listed in the plan itself. This map shows the various agencies that are participating in this. There are 4 cities, including Modesto, Oakdale, Riverbank, and Waterford, as well as Stanislaus County and Modesto and Oakdale irrigation districts. We're participating with Tuolumne County because they do have an agreement with Stanislaus County. And again, we all share the same resources in terms of groundwater, Tuolumne River, and the Stanislaus River. This has been a multi-year process. So the agencies did form a sustainable groundwater sustainability agency back in 2017. We spent a little over 4 years developing the plan, which was submitted in January of 2022. We did receive comments back from the state earlier this year, which deemed our document incomplete. But we are here tonight because we have revised the plan based on the state requirements, and we are ready to adopt this plan tonight. We are required to submit the revised plan as the Groundwater Sustainability Agency by July 16th of 2024. Now, adopting this plan is not this is not going to be a static document. This is going to be a living document that all the agencies have to abide by. So every 5 years, the agencies will have to work together to update the plan, make sure that we are committing to what we promised to the state, as well as look at other opportunities for us to be a sustainable agency. The list here is a list of items that we did identify in the original plan in black, are what we submitted to the state, such as the plan area, groundwater conditions, sustainability goals, and projects to achieve sustainability. The items in green are what the state required us to add to this revised groundwater sustainability plan, which included management actions as well as well mitigation strategy, which are included in this latest version here. So I will highlight a couple of the projects that City of Modesto will be doing to for its part to make sure our base is sustainable. We're looking at using the full use of the Modesto Regional Water Treatment Plant, which provides in-lieu groundwater recharge. By what in-lieu groundwater recharge is instead of pumping groundwater out, we're maximizing the use of surface water that we purchase from MID. We are also looking at advanced metering infrastructure, otherwise known as smart water meters, which gives control to our residents so they can monitor their water usage real time. And we're looking at a couple stormwater projects to help recharge our groundwater aquifer. By no means do these projects mean this is all we have to do. Within the next 5 years, we can continue to work with our sustainability agency partners so that we can identify other projects that will make sure that everyone is in compliance. So we did receive a notice of intent to adopt this revised groundwater sustainability plan back in March of 2024. As a condition from the state to adopt a groundwater sustainability plan, we must have a public hearing, hence why we're here. And specific to the memorandum of understanding between all the agencies of the Groundwater Sustainability Agency is that we must individually adopt this. I will say tonight, we are the last agencies. All the other agencies have adopted the plan. The most recent was MID this morning. So staff recommendation is a resolution to adopt the revised Modesto Subbasin Groundwater Sustainability Plan, as well as approving to the City of Modesto's governing board representative to adopt the plan at the meeting that they're going to hold tomorrow at MID. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. Can you articulate for me how this plan could impact Modesto ratepayers?
That's a very good question. So the impact to the Modesto ratepayers is what we've listed in terms of the project. So these are projects that we've already listed or put as in our capital improvement plan. So again, we're not doing anything new, but these are things that are mandated by the state. So what we have is we have already anticipated these projects in our rate process.
Right, but does it change anything from, how does it impact it? Does it change anything, or does it, because this is a negotiation between us and what, 8 other entities or 8 other?
No. As you recall, the City of Modesto did adopt rates last year, so it doesn't change the rate plan that council adopted last year.
I guess my concern is does it impact supply? Like, could it, because if, for example, I know we've done a very good job, for example, of recharging our water here. Can it impact our supply somehow? Does it allow other regions to tap into our recharge?
No. So specific to our region here, so the plan is to protect our groundwater resources. So all the projects that were listed in the groundwater sustainability plan are projects that all the projects that the 8 other agencies listed, as well as the City of Modesto, are projects that we are trying to implement to ensure that we have a sustainable groundwater basin for current and for the future.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Will, for that report. And I know that you've briefed each of the council members in depth in regards to the very thorough and comprehensive plan that you're speaking to us today, the groundwater sustainability plan. You indicated in your presentation that the Modesto Subbasin is not considered critically overdrafted, but are considered a high priority basin. You indicated that that's the case due to its ag interest. So given that it is a high priority because of the ag interest, how do you suspect that the groundwater sustainability agencies, that you refer to as the GSA, how would you suggest that they plan on addressing the concerns raised by our local ag community?
That's a very good question. So as I mentioned prior, there are projects that all the agencies are planning to implement to ensure that we are sustainable. There are areas that I believe several of you received a letter from some concerned people. This plan does not preclude us from not continuing to look at opportunities for us to mitigate and to manage our aquifer better. So in what I understand is there are some concerns about some other areas within the basin area that are overdrafted. And during the next 5 years, we're going to be working with a consultant that we're going to be hiring to ensure that they look at all the data and to ensure that there's fairness in terms of how we manage and how we implement a lot of those projects. For agencies that don't comply, the state does have the ability to work with the local agencies to ensure that they do follow that plan.
Great, thank you very much.
All right. So what does it mean that it's a high priority basin?
The reason why it's high priority is because we are, there's a lot of interest in the groundwater, meaning it's not just the ag interest, but it's also the municipal interest as well too. So a lot of people are looking at across the valley. There are a lot of stresses to our groundwater because of a lot of growth. So high priority basin basically it just kind of highlights the fact that we are an important basin to ensure that we have sustainable groundwater.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the being out of compliance or anything? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from council members of staff? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be supporting this item this evening, and I know and I have the trust and confidence in our staff to continue being engaged in working out the future details that best serve the city of Modesto, our ratepayers, and that making sure that we're not subsidizing other cities and county. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. All right. I have a resolution adopting a revised groundwater sustainability plan and documenting the commitment to develop and implement a well mitigation program and management actions in the Modesto groundwater subbasin. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Escudia-Brayton, seconded by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.